Everybody, Jake Anderson here at Maverick Strength. Quick video today on glute activation. We're going to give you guys a quick circuit you can do, as well as a couple stretches to open up your hips and activate your glutes. This is really going to make your workouts more effective. You're going to be using those muscle fibers in your glutes rather than just your hamstrings and your quads, which lots of people do. So before we go into our warm-up, I just want to show you guys a few breakdowns we see that come with weak or underactive glutes. So the first and most common breakdown we see in squatters that have underactive or weak glutes is on the concentric portion of the movement. So when they're coming up, an excessive leaning forward at the hips. This is a breakdown in the glute max, and it puts excessive force on the lumbar vertebrae, which can lead to lower back injury. So the second breakdown we see, another very common one in squatters, is on the way up along with that excessive lean at the hips. If you have this breakdown, sometimes it is a very excessive lean at the hips as well. Sometimes it's a little more minimal, but just the knees coming in on the way up. So this is a breakdown in the glute medius and glute minimus. That just basically means that your glute medius, glute minimus aren't contracting enough to hold those knees out, and as a result, they're falling in. All right, so the last breakdown we see is in the deadlift, and in this one, you'll see me coming up, and my pelvis is anteriorly tilted excessively, and this is mainly due to tight hips, which goes hand in hand with underactive glutes. So when a lifter has this issue, they'll overcompensate by arching their back, and their glutes actually won't be activated at all at the top portion of the movement. So the first thing we're gonna do before we get into our actual warm-up is just a stretch to open up your hips. And this is something that commonly limits your glutes. If your hips are tight, your glutes can't actually fully extend forward, and you're gonna be left with that anterior tilt in your pelvis. So this one's called a couch stretch. We start with our our back foot up on the wall, and our knee as close to the wall as we can, and then our front foot is just out in front of us, kind of like a lunge. So to start this movement off, we start down in a position like a sprinter. You'll see here I'm digging my knee into the ground and contracting my hip for 5 seconds. Once I've done that, I'm gonna come up nice and tall, extend forward with my hips, really just relax my hip flexor and stretch that out for 15 seconds at the top. I'm gonna do 3 rounds of this on each leg. So I'm going to go 5 seconds down, 15 seconds up, 5 seconds down, 15 seconds up, and then one more time, switch legs. Just do 1 round of this before your workout and your hips will be good to go. Okay, so the first exercise we have in our glute activation warm-up is a 1-leg or 2-leg hip bridge. So the setup for this is gonna be having our shoulder blades right on top of the bench here, 1 leg straight out in front of us, and our working leg heel is right in line with our knee. So if I show you on this side, it might make more sense. My heel is in line with my knee. If it's too far back, you'll be using your hamstring, not your glute, which is the opposite of what we want. So leg in line with foot in line with my knee, front leg up. My hips are about 1 inch or 2 off the ground, and I use my glute to get myself upwards like this, bringing my knee up and towards me. Come down slow. Again, glutes about 2 inches off the ground, foot never touches the ground, and up. So I'm gonna do about 8 to 10 of these on each side. If this is too difficult for you, the regression is a 2-legged hip bridge. So very similar, but we're just using both legs. So coming down to the bottom and up. You can also do this one weighted by having a dumbbell on your lap. And if you're doing the regression, we're going to prescribe 12 reps rather than 8 to 10. Okay, so the second exercise in our glute activation warm-up is going to be a mini band monster walk. So with this one, we're getting our feet nice and wide and pushing our knees out. We want our knees to be the widest part of our leg, otherwise we're using more of our hips and not as much glute. So pushing our knees out, getting into a quarter squat position, and then I lead with my front foot and follow with my back foot. I want very small controlled steps. I don't want big and coming all the way in, okay? So small and controlled. We're doing about 10 steps, switching our direction. Finish with 10 steps, and then on the way back, we're just doing the same thing, but facing forward. The last one in our glute activation warm-up is a side plank clamshell. So with this one, we start with our forearm on the ground, our elbow right underneath our shoulder, and then we bring our knees out in front of us like this. So you want to imagine that there's a wall behind you, and you're maintaining contact with your upper back, lower back, and heels on the wall. So knees out in front, forearm on the ground. I'm just coming up, opening my knees, coming forward at the same time, coming down, knees closed, and my hip never actually rests on the ground. I stop about 2 inches off. So coming up and forward at the same time. You're gonna perform 10 to 12 of these on each side.